Hey guys, welcome back to Madhu's Tech World. Today I'll be showing you how to make COVID Cracker. It's an app that I made and there will be some useful tips and tricks inside it. So I'm just planning to show you the whole thing and then I'll be showing you the tips and tricks that you can use in your website if you're making one. So let's get started. First of all, I'm just going to show you the preview of it. So how the whole app looks like and all that. And then we'll get on to the coding. Okay, so let me just put up my preview. Here, COVID Cracker. You can see the giant title. And then here I have 3 buttons. Here, if I click on either of these 3, it will go to 3 of those screens. So if I click on COVID Game, it takes me to the COVID game page. So this here it says, let's cheer you up with a few games. So there's 2 games here. I'm just briefly going to show you my first game. So I'd say this is the one that's more fun out of my 2, because the other one I just used JavaScript to make the whole thing. So this one, it's pretty basic. It's not really that fun, but you know, just click on the syringe to activate it. I clicked on the syringe and then I'm moving it around. And then when I touch the COVID-19, the center part of the COVID-19, it just gets destroyed. That's the main aim of the game. So just touch the COVID-19 to destroy it. Okay, so those are my 2 games. Now let me go to my next page, COVID-19. COVID-19, what is it? What COVID-19 and the information where it's from, its origin, all that. And then symptoms, all the symptoms. Coronavirus structure. This is the structure of the coronavirus / COVID-19. Try it, you can move it around. So I made this 3D model of Tinkercad. So of the COVID-19 cell with this place called Tinkercad. Whoa. As you can see here, this is my COVID-19 cell that I created. Whoa. So this is like a cut portion of the COVID-19. So inside you can just see. And all that inside is this purple stuff. And these red spikes are like the kind of like spikes on the COVID-19. So all this is because of Tinkercad. It's a online platform you can use to like create 3D models and all that. And the best part is it's all free. So just search up Tinkercad on Google and you'll get it. And I can zoom in and all that. Now if I come down here, there's this button called Speak Text, and when I press this, it'll speak this whole thing, but I'm not really going to press it because it's going to take too long. And all of this giant paragraph, is basically the whole structure of the COVID-19. Okay, so let's go to our final page, our video simulation. And if you thought I would actually be making the simulation, you're wrong, because it would take me months to make it, probably years. So that's why I just got a video from online and stuck it into my app. So this video is called COVID-19 animation. What happens if you get coronavirus? It might appear on your device, might not, who knows. Now I just put a little note. This video was made in March 28, 2020, because the video contains information about the vaccination not being made yet, but it's already made. So yeah, I just put that note. This video was made in March 28, 2020. Now that we're done with the whole preview of my app, let's go back to the code. Now it's gonna start to get a tiny bit complicated. Okay, so let's go into our first page, our index.html page. And this was our home page here with the giant title, COVID Cracker. So this was our home page. So there's a title, there's 3 buttons, each with 3 links in them. So let me just go back. Okay, here at the start, I just add my head tag, and I probably explained this to you in one of my previous videos. So I just explained the main skeleton of the HTML. So go check that out. So I'm not really going to go into detail that much about this. Okay. So in this whole app, we're going to be using HTML, JavaScript. Well, I'm not really going to go into the style.css because it's mainly related to the design, and the design is up to you basically. And then our fourth thing, a tiny bit of Bootstrap, which is inside HTML. So here I just added my typepixel, COVID cracker, and then my link to style.css, and then my link to JavaScript. So I just added a script tag for my JavaScript and a link tag for my style.css. And then here I grabbed some Bootstrap links because we'll be using those today. And I will show you where to get those Bootstrap links right now. Okay, so if we go to a new tab and go to, one sec. Yes, it's called CDN, Bootstrap CDN. So I'm just going to show you how to get that. It's from this website called W3 Schools. So let me just go there. Bootstrap CDN. Let me go here. Okay, so let me just search up. Search. Okay. So Bootstrap CDN. Search that up and come here. Okay. Bootstrap get started. Okay. So if I come down here, where are the links? Okay. So these 3 links, these 3 colorful links, not the green ones, these colorful ones are the CDN links. So you need these 3 to actually if you want to use Bootstrap. Okay. So let's go back here. Okay, so I just copied and pasted my 3 Bootstrap links here, and then finish off my head. Now here I add a nav bar. So this was this black space here. So these 3 are my links to the different pages. Okay. And I add this nav bar for all my other 3 pages. So I won't really be explaining that for each and every one, or else it would take too long. Okay, so here I put a nav bar tag, and inside that I put 2 divs. So my first div is a nav bar header. So this will be my button. So I'll just tell you on and on later. So, and then I add an anchor tag. So this anchor tag all the way here. So this anchor tag is the home button you see here. This home button you see right here. That's the anchor tag. And then this button, I'll just show you right now. So if my screen is a bit smaller, so let me just show you really quick. Yeah, I'll just inspect. Yeah. Okay. So if this screen is a bit too small for these 3 links to appear, this button will appear. So this button with 3 lines will appear, and when we click on it, it will show our links. I know, it's pretty cool. Let me just close that. And then when the page is big enough for these 3 to fit in, these 3 will come back and we don't need the button anymore. So let me just go back. So that's this button. So inside the button, I put 3 span tags, each having a class equals icon bar. So this will basically show the lines. So one of the 3 lines for each span tag. Okay, so now that we got our navbar header done, let's come to our second div. So in this div, we're putting the actual 3 links, and inside this, we add a UL tag. And inside that is our 3 links. So we add 3 link tags, and each one will have an anchor tag inside it. And each anchor tag will have the corresponding H reference. So the reference to each index.html page. So for the first one, it's COVID game. So it would go to game.html. For the second one, it's COVID-19. So it would go to COVID-19.html. And then the third one, video simulation, it would go to video simulation.html. So like that. Now we got our 3 links, just end off our second div tag, and then we end off our whole navbar tag. Now that we got our navbar, let's go into our center tag. This center tag basically aligns everything into the center. Now, coming down, this is our main body. So here, I just add a div, and inside that, I put COVID cracker. I put a H1 tag, and then inside that, I put COVID cracker. Now, here, I add class equals column large 12, column medium 12, column small 12, column extra small 12. This is for my div, for my header. Here, this column large 12 means if the screen is a large screen. So if it was like a desktop, then this title would be 12 long, so 12 columns long. It just splits the screen into 12 columns, and then it puts it for the whole of the 12 columns. Now here, column medium 12, this one will basically do the same thing, but for medium-sized devices. So like the laptop I'm using right now. And for small sizes, column small 12 means that for like sizes for iPads and stuff. So for that size, they just put column SM12. And then for like iPhones and phones smaller than that, it would put extra small 12, column extra small 12. So now that we got that done, let's move on to our 3 buttons. So I just add another div tag after the header tag, and inside this I add 3 buttons. In each button, I will add an anchor tag, and in each anchor tag, I will add an image, a HR tag, and a H3 tag. So for the first one, I add an image of the game, so the game that I'm going to be playing. And then I put a HR tag, which will show a really thin line, but if the background is white, you can't even see it at all because it's the same color as the background, because it's white. And here I just add a H3 tag after that, saying COVID game, because COVID game is the first section of my app. And then I just do the same with the other 2 buttons. I just add an image, HR, and then H3, showing the title, and then image, HR, H3, showing the title. Now that we've done with our 3 buttons, after that, we finish off our center tag. After that, we add our link to main.js. So another script tag, which is linking to main.js. So here, then, we go to game.html, our next section. Well, actually, our first section of our whole app. That was just our home page. So here I've just got my head tag and then my navbar, but when it comes into the center tag, it's wholly different. Okay, so here we just add our title again, H1. Let's cheer you up with a few games, because I've got 2. And then I put a BR tag, which just leaves a line, and then it skips to the next one. Or just leaves a line of space if we put 2. And after that, I just put a div tag, and this one is the carousel. If you don't know what a carousel is, let me show you. Okay, so this thing which slides to the left, slides to left, slides to right, and stuff. So this is a carousel. I don't know if you've seen the arrows, but yeah, this is a carousel, and slides to different slides or games. And so I just add a div tag and put create it into our carousel doing that. And then after that, inside the div, I put an OL tag. So inside this, I had 2 links. Each link is basically a dot, and it will show which slide they're on. So let me just go to my app. Here, I don't know if you've noticed, but these 2 dots here, so it's on the second one, so it's on the second dot. And if I go back to the first one, it's on the first dot. Like that, like that. Okay. So I added 2 links, and in my first one I had data slide 2 equals 0, so it's going to be our first one. And then data slide 2 equals 1, it's going to be our second slide. And for the first link I put class equals active because I want that that dot to be the first thing that appears. So the first slide that appears. And when I come down, after I finish my OL tag, I put another div. This one has a class of class equals carousel inner, which basically means it's inside the carousel, and it's like it has the main slides in it. So in this one, I add another 2 divs, and these 2 divs act as the items. So the first one, I put a class equals item active, which means it's the first item that will be appearing. So our first game, the rocket game. And then my second div will have class equals item because we want that to appear second. So it's just item. So in each div, we add a center tag to make everything in the center. And then inside my first div, I add an iframe. So this is something you could use in your website. The nav bar is something you could use in your website. And yeah. So this iframe will basically stick something from online into your website. So this is the iframe that I got for my first game, this one. And here, after we put iframe, we put our src equals, and then in double quotes, our link for our thing we get from online. So after our iframe, we put a paragraph tag, and inside that we put a tiny note, full screen with half sound is recommended. Well, I just put that because we want it at half sound and then full screen, because you might not be able to see it clearly. And here, img, so a image tag after the paragraph, we put, and then my src, and then my style. I won't really be going into the style in this video. So after I finish off my first one, I move on to my second one. Inside the center tag for my second one, I put a button, and inside the button, it says play. And one essential part for this button is the on click equals, and then inside the double quotes, we put load image function. So this one, so load image and then double brackets. So this one will basically, when this button is clicked, it will execute the load image function, run the load image function in main.js, which I will show you later. And here, after I finished my button, I put another paragraph tag showing another note. Click on this arrange to activate it. So here, where we saw my second game, when we click play, click on this arrange to activate it, and then it moves. So let me go back. Okay, here after I finish my paragraph, I put a canvas tag. And this one is really useful for our second game because everything just happens on the canvas. So this canvas, so inside the canvas tag, we just put the width and height and then the ID. The ID is really important because if we put my canvas as my ID, it's perfect. And then when we go to main.js, we need that to use the canvas. Okay, now I finished my second item and then finished off my whole carousel inner tag. Let's come here to these 2 anchors. My first anchor will show a left arrow. So my first anchor, class equals left carousel control, href equals my carousel, because it wants to go to this thing, not anything else. and then data slide equals preview, which means it will go to the previous slide. And then inside that we put two span tags. My first span tag is class equals glyphcon chevron left, which means it will show my left arrow. That's the symbol for the left arrow. And then on the second span tag, we put class equals SR only, and then inside that we put previous. Okay, now we finish off our anchor and then move on to our second one, which is exactly the same, but for right. So this time our class for our anchor tag is right carousel control, and then href still my carousel. Data slide equals next, so it will move on to the next slide. Now inside the anchor tag we put the two span tags, but for our first span tag we put class equals glyphcon chevron right, so a right symbol. And then here we put span class equals SR only next, so this will show next, not previous. Okay, now we finish off our two anchor tags, which means we finish off our whole carousel tag, which means we finish off our center tag. So after that we just add our script to main.js. Now before I finish this whole HTML page, I have to tell you something really important. Here at the top we put a link to fabric.js, and this one is really important because we need it for our game and our canvas, so we should not forget that. Now our game.html is finished. Now let's go to our next section, COVID-19.html. This one looks big, but it's not, so just trust me, this is gonna go quickly, sort of quickly. So this one I just add my head, and then I add my nav bar, and after that in the center tag we have three sections. So my first part, so I just add my header COVID-19, and then I just put down three sections, so three divs after my BR tag. I just put down three divs. My first div will have its title, what is it, so a h2 tag, what is it, and then after that I put another div tag saying, inside that div tag I put another div tag, and then inside that I put a class equals column large 6, column medium 6, column small 12, column extra small 12. Yeah, so this is another Bootstrap link. And then here inside the div I put a paragraph tag, and this contains all the information about where COVID-19 was born and when it was declared a pandemic, and another name for COVID-19 is coronavirus. So yeah, that's the information in this paragraph. So then I finish off my div tag, and after that I add an image showing the cases across the world. After that I finish off my outer div, and then I finish off my whole section div. Now our second section, this part. So our first section was this part, and then our second section is this part. I just put the same IDs for the sections because then the effect that would happen on one section in CSS would happen to all three. Okay, so my section, I have a title, symptoms, and then all my things inside it are really short. So inside it, so my second div inside it, I just add another paragraph tag. COVID-19 has quite a few symptoms. After that, an image showing all the symptoms about COVID-19. So let me just go here, COVID-19. So this is the what is it part, this is the symptoms part. COVID-19 has quite a few symptoms, right there. And then the image on symptoms. So that was really short. And then my next part is really big. So in that part, I just add my title, just change it to coronavirus structure. And then my information part is really big. So in my information part, I put a paragraph tag saying, this is the structure of the coronavirus / COVID-19. And then another one, try it, you can move it around. And then my iframe for Tinkercad. So the online platform which makes structures and all that, yeah, that. And after that, I just add a space, a line of space, a BR tag, and then after that, I put a button saying speak text. And this is the button which speaks this whole giant paragraph. So when we click on this, it will run the speak function in JavaScript. Okay, so when we click on this, it will do the speak function, and then this is a whole explanation of COVID-19. So P, ID equals explanation, and then inside that, the crown-like spikes on the surface of the COVID-19, so blah, 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 blah. Now we finish off our third section, and then our center tag, and then our link to main.js. And that's our second section finished. Now our final HTML part, video simulation.html. And in this one, it's pretty short, really short. So I just add my head and then my nav bar, and then inside the center tag, I add a h1 tag for my title, video simulation. And after that, I add the iframe for the video I got from online. But here I just add a Bootstrap link. Column large 12, column medium 12, column small 6, column extra small 12. Why did I put 6 there? I'll just change that to 12. Okay, so here I put a paragraph tag after the iframe. So my src is from YouTube. And then after that, I put a paragraph tag. And inside it, I put a class equals column large 12, column medium 12, column small 12, and then column extra small 12. So that's my Bootstrap part for my paragraph. And inside this, I put this video was made in March 28, 2020. So this is the small note we were talking about earlier. So that's it. And then I finish off my center tag and then my main.js tag, like my main.js link to main.js. And then yeah, that's all our HTML, but we still have one page to go through, main.html, which is this giant page like that. Okay, from the start. Here we add a variable canvas equals new fabric.canvas, and then in brackets and then in double quotes my canvas. So in this one, we're basically saying fabric.canvas. We're just saying that our canvas is my canvas, the ID I put for the canvas in game.html. This one right here. This ID equals my canvas. So that's what I put. And main.js here, it will say that the canvas is officially my canvas. Now, we just add the X and Y for a syringe. So that's our player, the syringe thing. And then we add our COVID X and Y for our COVID-19 cell. So syringe X equals 5 and syringe Y equals 5. And then COVID X equals 500 and then COVID Y equals 300. Now that we set our X and Y's for that, let's come to our load image function, which was also in game.html. Whenever we clicked on the play button, it would say on click load image function. So this is the load image function, and this function is related to this as well. So these two work together to actually make the two sprites. So in my function load image, inside this we just put fabric.image.fromURL coronaviruscell.png. So this will basically assign it to img in this function. So after we put coronaviruscell.png, that's the image src, and then inside that, so I just put coronaviruscell.png in double quotes. because it's a source. And then after that I put comma, and after the comma I put the function, and then in brackets I put img with a capital I. And after that is where we do our actual coding for this function. After the img in brackets part, I just put curly brackets, and inside that I create a new variable, corona underscore object, so obj equals img. So now corona object, the source of it is coronavirus cell.png. Now corona obj dot scale to width is 50, so it will make it 50 pixels wide, and then corona obj dot scale to height 50 pixels high, so tall. And after that we put corona obj dot set. So here we normally put semicolons at the end of each and every line in JavaScript, but corona obj dot set, obj dot set, this one will basically set the x and y values of coronavirus, so the COVID-19 cell. So here we put set corona obj dot set, and then in brackets, and then in curly brackets we put top colon COVID y, and then so basically the y value equals COVID y, and then the x value equals COVID x. And after that we just end the curly bracket and our normal bracket, and then put a semicolon at the end. This is some special syntax, so don't really worry about it, it's just some special syntax. Here, because we don't really put in our semicolon at the end. Now, after we put our corona obj dot set, we put canvas.add corona obj. So this will basically add the corona obj sprite to the canvas. Okay, now that we've actually added the coronavirus cell to our canvas, after that we put a new image function. So we're running the function new image, and this will be right here, function new image. And I told you earlier that these two would be working together, and this is how. So we run the new image function right after we finish load image. Okay, so function new image. Inside that we basically do the same thing but for our syringe. So we put syringe.webp, webp, and then inside the function img it says syringe object equals img, and then the width, and then the height, and then the x and y, which is syringe y and syringe x. And then we add our syringe obj to the canvas. But after that we put an if condition. So this is how we destroy the COVID-19. Here, if syringe x, so in brackets, syringe x plus syringe y equals to, so two equal signs, COVID x plus COVID y. So if the x and y positions of the syringe match to the x and y positions of COVID-19, then inside the if condition we put canvas.remove corona obj. So inside this corona obj, it will basically remove the corona obj sprite from the canvas. And then we set a random x and y coordinates. So for COVID x equals math.floor, and then in brackets math.round, and then in brackets again math.random. So this one, math.random, and then, so random is a function, so we put double brackets at the end. And then we put an asterisk, and then we put 501, and then bracket, and then backslash 10, bracket, and then again, this star symbol, and then 10. the asterisk and then 10. Here, asterisk of 501, basically anywhere between 0 and 500. If I put 500 instead of 501, then it would mean 0 to 499. I mean, it wouldn't really make much of a difference, but yeah, I'm just going to put it like that. So then we put 0 to 501, and then after that we divide it by 10, and then put an asterisk and then 10. So here we're basically rounding it off to the nearest 10. Okay, so now here we do the same thing for COVID Y, but here instead of putting 501, we put 301. Now, then we set our new x and y coordinates for our corona obj. So corona obj.set, and then top COVID-19, left COVID-x. And then we add our corona obj to the canvas again. But this time, it will add corona obj to a new place. It will add corona obj to a new place. Okay? Yeah. Now, let's come down here. Okay. Window.add event listener, key down, my key down. So, window.add event listener basically means it will add an event listener, which basically means it will listen to whatever we do on the computer. So here we put key down in double quotes inside the brackets. So this basically means it will listen to if we press any keys on the keyboard. And then comma, and then my key down function. So my underscore key down function. So this one basically is a function that we'll create right here. So after we finish window.add event listener, we put down a function my key down. And then after that, in brackets, in normal brackets, we put E. And I'll just show you when we do this part. So after that, I just put a curly bracket and enter. Inside the function, we put key pressed, so a new variable, key pressed equals e.keycode. E.keycode is basically the ASCII value of our keyboard. So each key will have a different ASCII code or ASCII value. And depending on the key we press, depending on the ASCII value, then we can find out which key we pressed. So e.keycode, I'm pretty sure E stands for event. E.keycode with a capital C. E.keycode equals key press. After we finish that, we put 4 if conditions. That's a lot, but I'll just go through it. If key pressed equals, and then in double quotes, 37. So 37, the ASCII value of the left arrow is 37. And then the ASCII value for our up arrow is 38. Right arrow 39, down arrow 40. So these are the arrow keys we'll be using for our second game. So if key pressed equals 37, then we run the left function. And then after that, we put console.log left. So this console, let me just go here. So to our game. Here, if I just go right click and click on inspect, this can only work on Google Chrome. So always do it on Google Chrome. It will open up this place. This place looks complicated, but just click on console and it will show you this. These errors don't really do anything to my app, so I'm just going to leave that. So here will appear the thing. So here will appear all the stuff that we put in console.log. So when we come here, we say console.log left. So let me just go here. When I press the left, oh wait, play, click on syringe to activate. Wait, what just happened? Click on syringe to activate. Let me just do that a bit because it's a bit too small. Let me just click on the syringe to activate it. Now I can move it, and whenever I press left, here you see that it says left. Here, left. When I press left again, when I press left again, it will go to left. And it will give the new syringe X and Y, which I'll be showing you a bit later. Okay, here we put console.log left. Now we do the same thing, but for the other three keys. So if key pressed equals 38, then the up function, and then console.log up. And then if key pressed equals to 39, then right, console.log right. And then if key pressed equals 40, down function, and then console.log down. So that's our function myKeyDown finish. Now let's go to these four functions, these four huge functions. So these again are for our left, up, right, and down arrows. So now, this function left, we already executed it here, and here we're just creating the function. So function left, inside it we put a if condition, and inside this we put if syringe X is greater than or equal to 5. So because we'll be moving it 10 left, syringe X, if syringe X is greater than or equal to 5, then only go left. So then if we click left, our X equals -5. It equals -5. So now -5 is not greater or equal to 5. So then we can't move any more left. So that basically means it will not go out of the canvas. And after that we put, and inside the if condition, we put syringe X equal to syringe X minus 10. Because we're moving to the left, so our X axis has to decrease. So syringe X, our X axis for the syringe X equals syringe X minus 10, which means we're setting a new value to the X axis of the syringe. Now it's 10 less than it was before. So after that we put another console.log, and inside it we put in double quotes syringe X equals, and then outside the double quotes plus symbol, and then syringe X, so the actual value of the x-axis of the syringe. And then after that we put and syringe Y equals to, and then outside the double quotes we put plus, and then our syringe Y value. Okay, so after we do that, we put canvas.remove syringe object. So this syringe object is our syringe, so it will remove the syringe from the canvas. And then new image, it will run this function. So new image is up here. New image means it will add the syringe again. So we don't want different clones to be appearing on the canvas, so we just do that. Now we finish off our left function. That's it. Now for our up function. If syringe Y is greater than or equal to 5. So syringe Y is greater than or equal to 5 means if the Y is 5 or more, basically. So basically the same concept for our left function. If we press up, and if the syringe Y is not equal to 5 or greater to it, we can't go any more up. So it will be restricting, and it means we won't be going outside the canvas. Now inside this if function, we basically do the same thing, follow the same logic for our left function. Syringe Y equals syringe Y minus 10 because we're moving up. And then console.log syringe X equals plus syringe X plus, and syringe Y equals plus syringe Y. Now, canvas.remove syringe object, and then new image. Now for our right function. Here we put if syringe X is less than or equal to 595. Less than or equal to 595. Because our width of our canvas is 600 pixels. So syringe X, if it's less than or equal to 595, it means if we press right, then it will equal to 605. And then it's not equal to or less than 595. So it won't be moving right anymore. And after that, we put syringe x equals syringe x plus 10 because we're moving right. And then we put our console.log syringe y equals syringe y equals syringe y, and then syringe x equals syringe x. And here we put canvas.remove syringe object and then new image. And after that, we put our down function, basically the same thing. If syringe y is less than or equal to 395, because the height of our canvas is 400 pixels. So if syringe y is less than or equal to 395, then it means that it won't be going outside of the canvas as well, because our height is 400 pixels. And syringe y equals syringe y plus 10, console.log syringe y equals syringe y and syringe x equals syringe x, canvas.remove syringe object, and new image. Now we're finished with our JavaScript part for this. We still have one other function in JavaScript. So all we did right now, this JavaScript part, was all for our second game, because all of it is using JavaScript. I told you that at the beginning, probably. So yeah, I made all of it using JavaScript, and that's for our second game. So it's a reasonable amount for our second game. And function speak. So this last function, before we end our video, function speak, here we put variable, a new variable inside it, variable synth equals window.speech_synthesis. So this is our API, window.speech_synthesis. And then we put speak data equals document.getElement by ID explanation.innerHTML. So here, document.getElement by ID basically means that it will get the element by its ID. So the ID for our giant explanation in this one, our giant explanation here, the ID for this was explanation. So when we go to main.js, document.getElement by ID explanation, aka giant paragraph, and then dot inner HTML outside these brackets, so dot inner HTML. Now we just end it off with a semicolon, and then we add another variable, utter this. Utter this equals to new speech synthesis utterance, speak data. So this will utter, like inside the computer, not out. So it will utter the thing, utter whatever is inside the explanation, whatever is in speak data, which is the explanation. So then we put variable utter this equals new synthesis utterance speak data. And then after that, we put synth.speak utter this. So this will officially speak with the API whatever is in utter this, which is whatever is in speak data, which is the explanation. So after synth.speak utter this will speak the whole paragraph. Then we finish off our speak function, and we finish off our whole JS, which means we finish off our whole video. So thank you for watching the video with me and interacting a bit. And after this, I'm very tired because this video is 50 minutes long. And yeah, that's the end. So I hope you liked it. So just hit the notifications bell by subscribing, and like it if you really liked it, and then comment if you think I could improve on anything, or just put in some random comment on what I did that was really good. So I hope you liked the video. I hope you found some really useful tips and tricks on how to add them to your website. And yeah, so that's my video on how to make COVID Cracker, the app that I made. So I'll see you in the next video. See ya!